Hey, small group, 3 strands. We are back. We made it. We are through the book of 1 John. Woohoo! We made it. And now we are on the book of 2 John. So, some of you have been telling me that I show no animation, that my eyebrows apparently never move, which they can. So I don't know what that's about, but I'm gonna do this whole thing for you this week. This is for you, okay? For those critics out there. Actually, no, that's just weird. I'm not gonna do any of that. We're just gonna move on, and you guys can pause it and make fun of me all you want. I don't really care. Whatever. Okay, so here we go. We're done with 1 John. We're into the book of 2 John, and we are gonna read it, and we're gonna go through what this book is talking about. So here we go. Grab your Bibles. We're opening up to 2 John, reading the whole thing. It's only one chapter. It's not very long. So let's go. Ready? 2 John. The elder, to the elect lady and her children, whom I love in truth, and not only I, but also all who love or who know the truth, because of the truth that abides in us and will be with us forever. Grace, mercy, and peace will be with us from God the Father and from Jesus Christ, the Father, Son, in truth and love. I rejoice greatly to find some of your children walking in the truth, just as we were commanded by the Father. And now I ask you, dear lady, not as though I were writing you a new commandment, but the one we have had from the beginning, that we love one another. And this is love, that we walk according to his commandments. And this is the commandment, just as you have heard from the beginning, so that you should walk in it. For many deceivers have gone out into the world, those who do not confess the coming of Jesus Christ in the flesh. Such a one is the deceiver and the Antichrist. Watch yourselves, so that you may not lose what we have worked for, but may win a full reward. Everyone who goes on ahead does not abide in the teaching of Christ, does not have God. Whoever abides in the teaching has both the Father and the Son. If anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, do not receive him into your house or give him any greeting. For whoever greets him takes part in his wicked works. Though I have much to write to you, I would rather not use paper and ink. Instead, I hope to come to you and talk face to face, so that our joy may be complete. The children of your elect sister greet you. So what is John's big idea? What is his main point, his big thought? This is the second letter that he's written, and his big idea is simply this. Guys, love each other. That's it. Like, that's the big thing. If he wanted to remind them again of something, he's already written a whole first book to them, and now he's the second letter. He's saying, guys, if you can remember just one thing, man, just get the one thing right. Let's just love each other. This is the command that God gave us, that Jesus told us to do. Let's just do that. Can we just please do that? How about we just stop all the petty arguing and the stabbing each other in the back and all the manipulative stuff? Let's get rid of all that. Let's just simply love each other. Can we just love each other? Is that so hard to do? Like, that's John's big idea. And so he's going in and he's talking about this at the very beginning. He talks to this individual he's writing this letter to, but it's actually not a person. It's a community. It's a body. And he says, the elder to the elect lady and her children. This is referring to the church. This is referring to the church body that make up Christians in that area. And so this is the church that he's writing it to. It's not to a certain person. It's not to a one specific lady in the church. It's writing it to the whole church. And so he's saying to the elect lady and her children, the church and all of the Christians in it. That's who he's talking to. And that's important when we get to the end of this letter to remember who is the target here, who he's actually talking to. So he's saying he's writing this to the church, and he's saying, I'm so happy for all that you guys are doing. I rejoice greatly to find some of your children walking in the truth, that you guys you're doing it. You're loving each other. You're walking in the truth. You're following God. Stay with it. Stay the course. He said, I'm so happy. I'm rejoicing in that. And I ask you, dear lady, church, not as though I was writing a new commandment, but just the same one we've had from the beginning. Just continue to love. Continue to show love to each other. And he says, this is the love, that we walk according to his commands. But then he gets into a couple verses where he's kind of giving a a warning and kind of some advice to, hey, just remember, slow down, hold on, remember, as a church, this is some things we should remember. For many deceivers have gone out into the world. They've left Christianity. They heard the message. They didn't want any of it. They've left. And they're deceiving other people as they go. They've gone out into the world, those who do not confess the coming of Jesus Christ in the flesh. Remember, we talked in the book of 1 John, there's a lot of Gnostics that are going around teaching false teachings. John's still dealing with them. He's saying, such as one is the deceiver and the Antichrist. Watch yourselves so that you may not lose what we've worked so hard, but you may win a full reward. You have to be very careful of who you let in the church to teach, who you let up in the front. Now, back in this day, in John's time, all of the church met in houses. They met in each other's homes here and there and there. They didn't have a central building like we do now today. But the same principle still applies. Who do we let into the pulpit to teach? What do we let teach from the pulpit? And John is saying this. There's some people who have left God. They're teaching false doctrine. They're teaching things that are contrary to Jesus. And you have to be very careful not to let them in to the pulpit, not to let them teach that to everyone else, because it's very easy to be swayed back and forth, okay, away from the truth. And you have to be careful that you don't get sucked out away from what the truth is, from the scriptures, because somebody is super charismatic and they can teach or they can sell snowballs to an Eskimo or whatever. You have to be very careful who you listen to and the truth, and especially who is in the pulpit teaching. And so this is what he's talking about in verse 10. If anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, remember he's talking to the church. If anyone comes to you, to the church, does not bring this teaching, do not receive him into your house, the church, or give them any greeting. Don't let them preach. If a Buddhist monk comes to Friendship, we're not going to let him preach. Okay? That's what he's talking about. For whoever greets him takes part in his wicked works. This is not talking about individuals, because we know as Christians, and from what Jesus has told us, we are to love each other. We're to be with each other. Now, there's a big difference between a Buddhist monk and I sitting down and having lunch and talking about faith and me trying to explain Jesus to him. That's different than letting a Buddhist monk preach from the pulpit. So this is what John's talking about. You have to remember who the target is. He's talking to the church. Okay, not to individuals on this. And then he says, but I have so much to write to you, but I would just rather do that in person. I'd rather just come to you face to face so we can talk it out. And so here is your small group question for the week. Okay, small group question is, what are the things that trip you up? What are the things that you have to watch out for so that it might suck you away from the truth? It might pull you away from Jesus. The temptations that you face, the struggles that are real for you. Because what's real for you might not be real for what somebody else is. So what do you struggle with that you need help to watch out for? And then the second part of this is, once everybody has shared what they struggle with, go around the room and take 3 minutes and just pray for everybody in the room. Pray for that person's weakness, that they can be strong in those temptations. Okay? And as we love one another, we help each other with those things. Because everybody in the small group, you're going to know what other people struggle with. And you can use your love for them to help them in their struggles. We're not in this alone. We do it together. Okay? So, that's what you're going to talk about with small groups. And I'm going to hopefully see you guys on Wednesday, and we're going to go through the book of 2 John there a little more deeper. So I'll see you guys soon. Have a good small group. Have a good week. Bye.